Hi everyone, Eileen here. This is the card that I'd like to share with you today. This Sunday, so I've got another Lavinia Stamps video tutorial from me to you. I'm using a crackle stencil in the background along with some Elements inks and the fabulous Zanor, a magical mystical creature, and some words in the background from a stamp called Keeping Faith and Star Cluster. More about those individually later as I use them through the creation of the card. So let's get going. I have a piece of Lavinia Stamps cream cardstock. It's a 14 centimetre by 14 centimetre topper. I do love this cream card. It seems to really enhance colours of the ink that I'm using, no matter what the inks are. I just like the look of them. And the crackle stencil is the first thing that I'm going to apply, along with a couple of makeup brushes and Elements inks. Now these are very, very juicy ink pads, so I need to make a bit of space so that you can see my blending mat, or the craft mat, and I'm going to pop down. I'm also using russet orange as well. Going to pop down the blue, Della blue, onto the brush and then onto my craft mat and blending it down so that you can hardly see it, because I just want a whisper of the colour on this stencil from both of these inks, and they are very rich indeed. So coming round in an arc, very lightly, hardly any pressure on the head of the brush, but you can still see, or I can see, the colour that is actually appearing now. A little bit more pressure as the ink leaves the brush and onto the card. Just going around in a sort of a figure C or a letter C, half moon. Next is the orange russet, and that is strong as well, so taking that down the craft mat so that it's transparent and very lightly, just going over some of the blue and then spreading out over to the right, so the main ink really is in the middle of your card. But I want to blend it in with the blue as well, so you get different colour tones then, some greens coming in, like so. That's good. So that's the crackle stencil, and that will go straight into water. Pop these Elements inks away and the brushes, and just mopping up my craft mat, getting rid of all the coloured inks that I've used. Pop that back, see if you can see it okay. Let me look. That's not bad. Bit dull and overcast here in North Kent again, but I've got a lamp on, so hopefully you're getting the true colours. Just going to have a slurp of coffee. It's that time of the day. Next, I'm using the stamp called Keeping Faith. This is a collection of all different words in different fonts. Very attractive. Believe, together, courage, unite, spirit, strength. I think you get the idea. And this makes an ideal background stamp. So, first Fine Clair Glamorous will do for this one. I'm going to take some of the ink off, but not in the conventional way, by stamping. So stamping up the whole of the stamp, and then with a dry cloth, I'm just removing and sort of moving the cloth around in a figure of S on this. A bit more at the bottom, a little bit more at the top. It's sort of very random, but I'm removing a fair amount of the ink so that I've just got parts of the words onto the middle of my card now as I stamp, like so. beautiful grey cat just passing by the window. My dog hasn't seen that. Oh, there'd be bedlam. Okay. Right, so you've still got a fair amount of the stamp showing, but it's also eased off the overall look of the stamp so that it fits in more with the background as a background rather than the main image. Next, it's the beautiful Zanor. And I'm using VersaFine Black, Onyx Black for this. You can use VersaFine Clair Nocturne, both very fluid inks. It's a silhouette stamp, so it needs a fair amount of ink on it. Gentle tapping, making sure that middle of the stamp is covered. And just wiping off surplus ink from around the stamp or from the block. And then I'm popping him on at an angle. Now there's a sigh of relief for me. I don't know about you, but that means I haven't got to bother about him being straight. So he is sort of galloping off into the distance through the sky, presumably. And even though it's green and yellow, and oh, the joys of art, eh? Popping him down like so. He's in the middle of the card because obviously he's the main feature. Pressing down firmly without rocking the block. I've got a foam stamping mat underneath my work. You can use a stamp press if you feel more comfortable with that. And then up. And there he is, absolutely gorgeous. Now we're going back to the VersaFine Glamorous, and I'm inking up the star cluster. I'm using this a lot lately. It's a very versatile stamp. Gentle tapping again. I don't think I've got any surplus ink on here. I think that's fine. Could do maybe with a bit more ink this side. I'm just looking at the ink glistening. And then down we go. And this is just going over the top of Zanor. Or Zanor. Right. There's an area on this star cluster stamp where there are lots of stars, and then on the opposite side there are not so many. So that's the star configuration that I want, with the stars, the lots of stars right over on the right hand side, like so. Okay, one more stamp to do, and that's With Love. But you can put anything you like down in this, or just leave the sentiment out altogether. And this is from the Heartfelt Words set. Find that on the Lavinia Stamps website. Gentle tapping again in VersaFine Onyx Black. And this will have to be straight. And I'm popping that over just to the side. And then a quick down, press and up. These are very delicate stamps, these word stamps, and they don't like to be pressed too heavily. So just a gentle pressure and then up again. Right, I think that's it. The final thing to do is to take a card blank. And I've got one here. No, I haven't. I thought I had, and I haven't. Right, so I'm just going to show you here. So this is a card blank with the topper on top, stuck already. So just popping that on. It is exactly the same, and that's how I've mounted this, and it's tenfold. So that's the one from this morning. This one one that I've just made. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It was good fun. I hope that you'll enjoy making this, and I'll see you again next weekend for another Lavinia Stamps video tutorial session. Have a great week. Bye for now.